You know that moment at the end of the month when you check your savings account and it looks almost exactly like it did last month? Maybe $50 more. Maybe less because the car needed tires. And you start wondering if this is just it. If getting ahead is something that happens to other people, people with rich parents, or stock options, or some secret you never got told. Well, here's the thing. There actually is a secret, but it's not what most people think. It's not a hot stock. It's not a side hustle. It's a single, boring, specific number. And once you hit it, you can basically stop being clever about money, because the math starts doing the heavy lifting for you. That number is $1,000 a month. My name is Grandpa Gaines, and I've spent way too many years thinking about money, compound interest, and why some people quietly become millionaires on ordinary salaries while others earn twice as much and stay broke. If you want to understand the real mechanics behind wealth building, instead of just hoping things will magically improve, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it changes how you see your savings rate. Now, before we dive into why $1,000 a month is the dividing line, let me paint you a picture. Most people save whatever is left over at the end of the month. They pay the rent, the car, the groceries, the subscriptions, they have a couple of fun weekends, and then they save the remainder. And here's what actually happens. The remainder is almost always zero. Not because they're lazy, not because they're stupid, because whatever's left is the one budgeting strategy mathematically guaranteed to fail. Your spending expands to fill the space every single time. The people who get ahead flip the order. The money leaves first, on payday, automatically, and then life gets whatever remains. That's the entire trick. And $1,000 a month is where that trick stops being a habit and starts being an engine. So why 1,000? Why not 500? Why not 2,000? Think about it this way. 1,000 a month is $12,000 a year. That's the first number big enough to outrun your own life. 500 a month gets eaten. One emergency, one vacation, one transmission, and your whole year of saving evaporates. 12,000 a year is big enough to absorb the hits and still grow. It's the difference between bailing water out of a leaky boat with a coffee cup and finally having a pump that runs faster than the leak. And there's a psychological line here too. At 1,000 a month, you stop thinking of saving as skipping lattes. You can't latte your way to 12,000 a year. You're forced to fix the big three: housing, car, food, which means you're no longer making 100 small, painful decisions every day. You make 3 big decisions once, automate the transfer, and you're done. Most people have it exactly backwards. They sweat the $5 choices and sleepwalk through the $500 ones. Let's run the actual numbers, because this is where it gets fun. Year 1. You save 1,000 a month into a simple index fund, earning the market's long-term average, about 7%. At the end of the year, you have roughly $12,400. The market only chipped in about $400. Honestly, kind of underwhelming. This is the year most people quit. They look at that $400 and think, that's it? That's the magic of compounding? But something else happened in year 1 that doesn't show up on the statement. You now have a 5-figure cushion between you and disaster. The car breaking down is no longer a crisis, it's an inconvenience. You stop lying awake at 3 a.m. running disaster scenarios. And here's the thing nobody tells you. That calm is worth more than the $400 because panicked people make expensive decisions, and you just stopped being one of them. Now fast forward to year 5. Same boring 1,000 a month, nothing clever. You've put in $60,000 of your own money, but the account reads about $71,500. The market has now handed you $11,500, almost a full year of saving, done for you while you slept. And this is where the psychology flips. Somewhere around this point, you check your account after a good month, and the balance moved more from growth than from your deposit. Read that again. Your money had a better month than you did. The first time it happens, it feels like a glitch. It's not a glitch. It's the handoff, the moment the machine you built starts pulling alongside you. Most people never experience this feeling their entire lives, not because they couldn't, but because they quit back in the $400 year. Year 10. You've contributed $120,000. The account? Around $173,000. And now look at what the growth alone is doing. 7% of $173,000 is about $12,000 a year. The market is now matching you, dollar for dollar. There are two of you saving now, you and the pile. From here, the numbers get almost silly. Year 15, about $317,000. Year 20, roughly $520,000. And the pile is contributing $3 for every one of yours. Stay boring for about 28 years total, and the account crosses $1 million, of which your deposits were only about a third. The other 2/3? That's just the math, doing what the math does when you refuse to interrupt it. It's like pushing one of those old-fashioned railway handcarts. The first 100 meters, you're doing everything, sweating, straining, barely moving. But the track tilts gently downhill. Every year, the cart needs a little less of you. One day, you look down and realize you're not pushing anymore. You're riding. Okay, so at this point, you might be thinking, cool story, but I don't have a spare $1,000 a month. So here's what actually works. And it's not a stricter budget app. It's the big three in order of firepower. Housing first. It's most people's largest expense, which makes it the largest lever. One extra roommate, one move to a slightly less shiny zip code, one hard negotiation at renewal. That alone can be $300 to $500 a month. The car, second. The average new car payment in America is now north of $700 a month. The person driving a paid-off, 5-year-old boring sedan and investing the difference? They're not driving a worse car. They're driving a $1 million retirement with wheels on it. Food third, not never enjoy a restaurant again, just closing the gap between eating out by default and eating out on purpose. That's usually another $200. And then, this is the part most people skip. You automate it. The day your paycheck lands, the transfer fires. You don't get a vote each month. Because here's the truth. You will never out-discipline a bad system, but you'll never have to out-discipline a good one. Now, some of you are thinking, 28 years? I wanted rich by Friday. And look, if someone's promising you that, they're selling you something. But here's what's real. Every single one of these numbers scales. Can only do $500 a month right now? You're not failing. You're just on a 15-year delay of the same movie. Can do $1,500? You just fast-forwarded 7 years. The formula doesn't care about your starting point. It only cares that the transfer fires every month and that you don't touch the pile. Look, $1,000 a month isn't going to make you rich overnight. Nothing legitimate will. But it will do something better. It will quietly move you from one side of the line to the other. From the people who work for money forever to the people whose money eventually works for them. The savers and the spenders aren't different species. They're the same person, separated by one automatic transfer and a decade of not interrupting it. Your future self is standing at the end of that 28-year track. Looking back at the decision you make this payday, set up the transfer, make it boring, and let the math do the rest, because it genuinely, mathematically, will.